Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Tap In with Tristan. I hope y'all having a lovely day. I'm excited about this episode more than you even know. Before we even start, I want y'all to make sure that y'all subscribe, click that notification bell so you get all of the new content alerted to your phone or to your device, and also comment, like, and share it for me. This one is a special one, the most special one that there is for me because I'm going to be telling you guys my story. So it brings me great pleasure to do so. I'm honored to sit on this platform that I'm sharing with others and be able to do so. So, excuse me. Uh, Bear with me if it takes a little bit longer than some of the other ones. Please just stick with me. Please just stick with me, all right? So we're going to go back to the very, very beginning. The very beginning. And this is where it starts. This is where my story starts. So let's start with my parents. Mom is pregnant. And got to go to the office. So routinely going to office, stripped down, doctor, nurse, clinical nurse. They coming in to see her. So they come in and say, we cannot do it. You have to go to the other facility. So my mom immediately puts her clothes on and gets up out of there. So this is not your regular doctor's office, ladies and gentlemen. This is an abortion clinic. So prior to that day, my parents, who were struggling financially at the time, I believe my dad was working in the Bronx, going back and forth to a one-bedroom apartment, really inside somebody's home. So really one room in Farmingdale, Miss Paschal, and they was like, we can't support this baby. So that baby was me. They came in and they was like, we mismanaged your due date. So he's a little further along than we was anticipating. So you have to go to another spot. It was already paid for. It was done deal. You can't get any closer to it than having the actual procedure done. So I was this close to not making it. I was almost not here. I almost didn't make it here. I almost didn't make it here. So every breath of life for me is a blessing. And I felt this from a little child, that fighting spirit and that inner drive to do something. And I didn't know about this. So shout out to my mom for sharing this with me at 23 years old. I was 23. And of course, it hit me like a ton of bricks, but a testament to her to be transparent with me, because a lot of people will take that to the grave, and understandably so, man. That's a tough one. So shout out to my mom, but really everything for even me just sitting here is a blessing, and I'm super thankful for it. So my very first vivid memory is about 3 years old. So at around three, I remember hitting baseballs and watching sports. Sports was natural for me, so that was something that I gravitated to. My dad was a very natural athlete. He played really everything growing up. He started gravitating towards the softball aspect, and he was playing for some of the top teams in Long Island, where they even traveled and all these things. So I was around baseball and softball early on, mainly softball. Watching the Mets and everything at 3 years old when they won the World Series. I was born in 1983. They won 86. But they was like, man, it's a little different. I'll be around people. So from that 3 to 5 range, they're like, man, this kid is a little bit different, and how he even can articulate certain things in his memory and all these different types of things. So I knew from an early age, man, that I had something to give to this world. And I felt strongly that the avenue was going to be sports. And you feel that a lot in a lot of urban areas. So growing up, parents, they got us what we needed. Now we always didn't get what we want. I remember by this time, my brother's born now, so we're living in a basement apartment in Farmingdale. Really didn't have any doors other than the door to get in, but everything's kind of open. It's two separate spaces. We had the old refrigerator in there, like the honeymooners, and we was just doing our thing. Um, at that time, I do remember if I'm not mistaken, my grandmother on my dad's side passed away while we was in that apartment, so that hit him really hard. I never knew my grandfather Roosevelt, who was my dad's father. He passed away before I was born. On my mom's side, she grew up pretty rough. She had two brothers that had the same dad, so it was three of them, and then her mom remarried, and then there was three girls and one boy, and it was a little rough for my mom. So my grandmother was really never really in our life, and she lived really close. She was even in the neighborhood. And my grandfather, he came back in the '90s, uh, but outside of us reaching out to him, he never really reciprocated. So never really had any grandparents like that. But my first memory of sports was 6 years old. My dad brought me up to the parade where they have for the little league, and we gotta get you on the team, man. You ready to go? So they was like, you gotta go to the t-ball side. You're only 6 years old, and my dad was like, nah, he can hit pitches. He's ready. So gentleman by the name of Ross McQueen, Corey McQueen's dad came over, and my dad they used to call him Smitty. So they used to call him Smitty, and Smitty's son, he can play. I believe him. Put him in there. So they put me in with the 8-year-olds, and they put me on one of the bottom feeding teams, and I made the All Star team. Man, I was swinging at everything. Vladimir Guerrero, I had no strikes, and I'm swinging at everything. But I was actually a really good player. Next, so from my elementary years to I was playing baseball. That was my game. Basketball wasn't really, really, really on the scene until maybe Park Avenue. So all the while, I'm a pretty good student, real talkative, kind of excitable guy. I think excitable is a word. It might be a word. If not, rock with it. Rock with it. Um, happy about life, and I could probably understand why I was almost not here. So really enjoyed anything that involved like a ball, kickball, dodgeball, like any of that. Since the Bismarck, we playing it all. You know what I mean? So that was something we grew up in, and it was an eclectic town as far as the demographic. You have South Amityville, which is pretty much all white. You have North Amityville, which is all black. So we come together at the schools, and just depends on the different parts of the grade system is when you're going to see different like mixes. But mainly throughout it was black. So baseball started to shift out later on down the line, but in like that third grade time frame, that's when I experienced my first politics in sports. There was a gentleman named Ralph, and he had his daughter on the team. And if she was a good player, I'll say she was, but she was not. She was not a good player at all. Put her on the All Star team over me, and I was cooking, and I was devastated because I'm like, I'm easily one of the top players. So my dad ran up on him like, "Hey, man, what's that about?" He said, "Listen, man, I know your son is great. He's really good. He's gonna make a lot of All Star teams. This is my only time to get my daughter on there." But he was like, "But what about my son who deserved?" So uh, learning moment early on. Everything that's supposed to happen don't happen. And you gotta ride through it. So fourth grade, they put us on this team, man. And there was this one team that used to stack their team every year, man. So they had the names of the teams was all of the different stores that was in the village. So there was one team called Mike's Pizza. Really don't know who was the head of it, but they had everybody. They used to have a loaded team. And I was on Basel Plumbing. And Basel Plum was a yellow team, man. We had three good players, man, and the rest was kind of average to below average. Casey Lamar was my friend. He was a white dude. He lived in South Africa. I used to go to his house, and I seen that side of town for really the first time, and it was wow. It's a whole different world over there, man. They got that we the no frill stuff and the store bought with the store brand stuff. They got gushers and Dunkaroos and all of the man. And they welcomed me with open arms, so we were friends for it before he moved off to not moved off, but went to a private school. So and another kid named Dennis. So we get to the championship game, and guess who we got to play? We play Mike's Pizza. So we playing Mike's Pizza, man, and they think we're gonna get smoked out there. I'm like, nah. This is inside me, like, no. So this is young kid right now. I'm in elementary school, I'm a pitcher too. I'm lefty. So this is one of the proud moments of my life I can remember pretty clearly, not all of it, but it was proud because my dad normally comes to my games. This time he couldn't make it for whatever reason it is. My mom came and she normally plays the tuck because she gets nervous. So she just checks in. She stayed at the fence the whole time and she got hoarse screaming for me, man. And we ended up losing. It was the best loss of my life because it was a learning lesson and it was a proud moment bringing those guys all the way through or being a part of that. We lost 2-1 to the best team in the league. My last year, I batted 800. I struck out to a guy named Brett, uh, ground out and a pop up. Everything else was a hit or a base. So I was really good at baseball. Kind of stopped in that middle school. You know, they're not really playing baseball like that in my neighborhood. You know, in the black area, we playing basketball, we playing football. So gravitated towards that, especially um, during the times when summertime we was playing make it at Boulder Mac. That's where we was cutting our teeth at as young athletes. Basketball, playing on the blacktop. And in order for me to continue baseball, I had to go with these traveling teams, and I was kind of like, none of my guys and none of my friends is going. Yeah, I think most of the teams are going to be predominantly white. So I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to mesh very well. And I was a really good player, man. I probably should have stuck it out and took a look at it, but I did it, and I went. That was kind of the end of my career, baseball wise. But it started to basketball, so we got to make it. We got to make it, man. You know, so I'm playing. I end up getting a ball head. I'm getting a reputation. They call me Baby Weber. I look like Chris Webber. So everybody's playing in that tournament. You got the real ball players, and you got the guys that are knuckleheads that got a little bit of skill. Everybody's playing in that. You know what I'm saying? This is where you developing this toughness from. And a lot of guys in there, no formal training, just playing, learning, and competing. High level of competition, man. So that's where I cut my teeth at when it came to the sports aspect. In Park Avenue. I was part of that Leaders Club thing. So I was always a pretty good student. I didn't love school. It was more of a just get it done. I was a very lazy student. I'm not trying to do too much extra, but it came natural, some of the things. And as I got older, if it got a little hard, I didn't mind cheating. I ain't gonna keep it. I ain't gonna keep it 100. I ain't mind cheating because I'm like some of this stuff, man, is just in and out. And I know for some people that like part of academia, it's different. They're like, nah, I ain't cheating, I'm gonna do it. So my lane was sports. So I'm gonna keep it 1,000. You cross over into this middle school time frame, it was different. And it was different because of the location of the school, the age of the kids, and the tension that the kids had from all of the different backgrounds and households. So I do have an older brother, Jerron McKelvin, 7 years older. We have a different mom and an older sister, Tiffany. We're 1 year old. She's 1 year older than me. And Jerron was my guy. He used to, they had different households, and they used to live in that that Smith Street area. And they was kind of in the mix to that. My brother had to do a lot of stuff that he probably didn't really want to have to deal with at that time. But when I got a little bit older, he was bringing me all around, man. So I was learning how to just fend for myself because they was joking on me, and I had to, what I'm saying, I had to learn that. I was watching stuff, and dudes about to get into fights, and all these different types of things. He's 7 years older, so I'm seeing these things from an early age. Fifth grade, I was his water boy at the high school, so I seen him. He went to play football at college at Hofstra. Curtis Holloman went to play football at Georgia Tech. Tayron Carpenter was the quarterback in ninth grade. He was playing. He went to go play at Wake Forest. So I'm seeing like Division I talent and athletes right here in my neighborhood. And I'm at the high school, man. I'm talking to the cheerleaders, man. Oh, he's cute. So I'm like, I like this. I look forward to this being my future. But I got to get through middle school. Now, middle school was different because of the environment. It's right in the middle of all of that, you know what I mean, of the lower income area of Amityville is right there. And sixth to eighth grade is a big jump. And you got some people that might got held back. This would be in ninth grade. And these guys with reputations in there. So I'm going in that thing and I'm like, I ain't trying to fight, man. I'm trying to just do my numbers and really just do my school and play sports. You know what I mean? You start to get an interest in the ladies. So right now, hey, you talking to them, that's it. So my godfather, who is my brother, the brother of my godmother, brought me this Golden State uniform. So that was my first day. And he got me the Weber sneakers. So I had the whole Weber joint. So I'm like, oh man, I'm fresh. I'm hyped, but at the same time, I'm a bit nervous. I'm like, I hope nobody come run up on me, especially one of the big dudes. And there was a couple dudes that were big. They had reputations, Munchie, Hashim, and the big dog of them all was Khalid Baker. And I'm like, I just hope I ain't dealing, I don't want no problems up there. So it turned out that I got a cousin named Tanisha Lewis. She's my cousin. Khalid Baker is her cousin from her mother's side. I'm her cousin from the dad's side. So Khalid Baker knew who I was when I came in from the park, and he showed me love in front of people, and that was it for me. I'm in. So I'm walking like George Jefferson in that thing, like, what I'm saying, feeling nice, like big dog know who I am. He said, he's vouching for me. So that gave me a lot of credibility early on. But you still seeing the fights, man. You're seeing there's a lot of kids with a lot of tension in there, and there's a lot of jealousy and animosity towards one another because everybody's trying to find their way. And it's a status. You got some people that can dress well, and then they get hated on because some of the other kids can't afford that. And then especially if you came from another area, you know what I mean? You came from another area and you was looking good, they want to beat you up, especially the ones that didn't have as much. So you had to deal with that, or you had to avoid that. You had to talk your way out of that, man. So now you're learning life skills, man, in this pressure cooker. So I was able to get through sixth grade. I'm playing St. Martin's, which is the first time I'm playing in uniform, really inside of a gym environment. Shout out to Curtis Courts, RIP Curtis Courts. Um, he introduced me and Rick to St. Martin's team. Our first time playing for that. Tom Kirby was coaching, and then it ended up being my dad and Nate Kelly. And we never really looked back. I didn't touch the football field until seventh grade, but sixth grade it was a filling out process. There was a gentleman that was trying to bully me in seventh grade. He was in the seventh grade. He was coming up to the sixth grade wing, trying to bully me early in the school year, man. Byron Sims. And I remember he pushed me one time and I decked him. He fell into the locker, was holding his face, and took off running. And with that, they put me to the principal's office. Then with that, bring me to the principal's office, man. I'm like, I'm gonna get a spanking up. Now I'm mad. I'm scared about the punishment. But I didn't even worry about him. I didn't feel like he was a real fighter anyway, so I wasn't even really tripping off him in that state. There's some guys I'm like, I don't really want to fight him because he can get it in. I didn't feel like that. But I'm like, I'm gonna get in trouble. So they gave me a detention, 2 detentions after school, and then we kind of patched it up. Like every time you kind of hit me up. So that was cool. Then cross over to like seventh grade. Um, it's a little different, like much more mellow, kind of foothold going back. My mom. This is the year my sister was born. I remember the day clearly. But going back in fifth grade, my mom had a miscarriage, and that hit the household hard, man. I was really sad, and she was really sad, man. Me and my mom, we had a bond early, and that hurt the household. You know what I mean? And then also they were trying to make ends meet. I think we were in between. I would like to say that we were in between what the term is working poor, meaning that you have a job, it could even be a good paid job, but the cost of living is so high in New York that money's going out, but you don't quite qualify because you make too much for any government assistance, but you're not making enough to, maybe store stuff away. So we was kind of in between that working poor and that middle class. And with that, man, we've seen some of the trying times, man, more so than what people may even imagine or even knew about my household. There was a time in third grade where they could not get us. It was third grade going into fourth grade, excuse me. So fourth grade, they couldn't afford us, couldn't afford to get us any school clothes. So my uncle, whole different taste. So he comes and yeah, you know what I mean? he comes in and buys us stuff. So, we're appreciative, but we pulling out the bag and it's like, this is not a good look. Yeah, khaki pants, little button up, but thing like, oh, this is not the, so I'm like, cause I had style from early. And you can ask my mom, even up to this day, they don't even really like getting me any gifts because they're like, I don't know what Tristan gonna like. The fit of it, the brand, is it gonna hang right? All of those different types of things. So, but I was appreciative because it was better than going in with nothing. But at the same time, it was like, man, that stinks. And you got other people fresh to death, you know what I'm saying? Because you had some people family was involved with the drug game. Some people families was, had different things. Maybe even had some money from family. Like everybody had their own different situation. But as a whole, you know what I'm saying, there was more of a middle class type of a neighborhood. But then you had some lower areas, people was getting government assistance. So you had a blend all in one. And then you had everybody trying to find their way. So seventh grade, my sister was born. I remember coming there and really just locking in with helping. Was really involved with her life at an early age, almost like a brother and a father, because I loved her and I loved babies and I was a caring guy. Even during the pregnancy, when it was super hot, I'm putting baby powder on my mom's stomach. We didn't have any air conditioning, one of the hottest summers, and it was crazy. But Amityville, so it was a beautiful thing seeing my little sister. But Amityville's a interesting town, man, because you got a lot of moving parts. And back in the day, before they really cleaned up, there's a place called the Block, not too far from where we end up moving on Awfuley Street, which is around the corner from Great Neck Road on a dead end. There was the block, what I'm saying, there was drugs, there was a lot of stuff going on over there, man. A lot of behind the scenes type things. Like, you don't really want to go over there at night. My dad, when he was young, actually seen a dude get his neck sliced over there. So it was a lot of stuff going on, and there's a lot of history. So they starting to clean up that area, but there's still pockets of that going on, and that's kind of like really any neighborhood. There's a lot of black communities, unfortunately. So hopefully we can start to try to shift that out, see how we can get to the root of those things. But yeah, one time when I was in fifth grade, we pulled back up, man, and we seen the yellow tape on my thing, and we was like, man, we lived there, so we was able to cross it. But there was a dead body one time in the back of the woods. It was a mystery, some gentleman, and it was a terrible smell for like a week. And they was like, this is crazy, this is outrageous. So they called the cops and they went back and they found this gentleman dead in the woods, man, the papers and all that. So like there's memories of these things, man, and this is all real. So you get to seventh grade, first time playing football. I'm playing and I'm starting and I'm enjoying it. I got the big crazy shoulder pad. I'm like, come on, bro, man, skinny man. Let me get to the small ones. Nah, just give me the brolic ones. And playing football and loving it, man. And we bring in Antoine to play St. Martin, so we grinding on that. Middle school basketball, we got Reggie Shaw dad bringing us the oranges, so we jamming on that. So life is pretty good, man. Life is pretty good. This was the first time. This is the first time that I've ever dealt with something like what I'm about to say. My mom actually one time, my mom actually one time, she was like, "You want to get some breakfast in?" Absolutely. There's a spot called Up Top. So it's off of 110 where they had stores. So they had the deli, man. This breakfast sandwich was on point, bacon, egg, and cheese. I didn't eat the egg, so I just got bacon, cheese, and I had to tell her to add extra bacon. But she gave me this. I said, "You got money?" I don't got no money. So he was like, "Here, money." She gave me a book. And I was like, "What the heck is this? This ain't no money." It was food stamps. So my mom was no longer working, so she had qualified for food stamps. So we actually had food stamps in our household, and I was like, "Oh man, I'm a joker." You know what I mean? And also I'm a bit embarrassed. Like, man, I'm around my bike up there, and when everybody leaves the store, that's when I'm gonna order. I'm gonna order quick. Hey, Papa, let me get this, and this, and make it as quickly as possible, ASAP. And they had a little drawer in there for the separate bills, so they would pay you back. Like your change will be in those. So he gave him those too. So I'm like, and I'm going. So I'm like, this was before they had the EBT swipe. So it was my first time dealing with that, but it offset a lot of pressure. It offset a lot of pressure to my family food wise. Cause my mom was a master. She's been doing this for years. She was a master at stretching the money. So she always really had food for us. She would come back and cook when she was working. She used to work with UL in Huntington. Nice job there. Uh, and the people loved us. They loved us. You know, they loved her. My dad was working out east for in a warehouse for Rite Aid, and then they became Eckerts. So there was working class people. You know what I mean? Then my mom had the baby, and then since she wasn't working, really kind of just what was we needed that. So I got more comfortable over time, but you know what I'm saying? I really didn't want to reveal that part. Like, man, I'm using food stamps and I'm over here. And, like, I don't want people to really know that. So that was really tough. And then I remember one time we went out, got some clothes. We had some friends out in Wyandanch, family friends, and they went bag of clothes, and they got these clothes and everything. Like, where you get that from? It was like, yeah, we paid this money, and it was out in Harlem. So we drove out to Harlem. So this is let me backtrack. Let me backtrack. So seventh grade, start buying clothes, but then I'm like, my taste is getting a little bit. I want to know the cut and Tommy Hill figure. I'm seeing all that. We can't all the way afford that, but I'm like, if I get a couple pieces, then I'm good. So my birthday was in the summertime, July 30th. I'll take my birthday money, and then I would start buying my own clothes. You know what I'm saying? Until I was able to get a job. So that was my thought process. So before I go back to that ninth grade story, in eighth grade, we was smoking teams. Like we started to see we got something special here, and then they pulled me up. My eighth grade year, they pulled me up for basketball. So now I'm going into the high school after 5 games. Me and Roderick Henry, shout out to Rick, he was my neighbor, like one door down. And on the next block, Jason Frazier was there for a while. So we was all on the same street, off the street. So they pulled me up. So I'm like, oh, I'm in the high school. It's a different feel. It's a different feel. It's not as much pressure, but it's like a lot more older and more mature people. You got people going to college in the next year. But it wasn't the same. Like there was friction. There's always friction, but it wasn't as much friction. I felt like a lot of those people were kind of sliding off, and the street path was taking them, so they wasn't in the school as much. But there still was some for sure. But they embraced me. They embraced me right away. Me and Rick, JV, we practicing with the varsity. The varsity was nice with it. Um, was my eighth grade year. Let me see. That might have been my seventh grade year where they lost at the buzzer to Westbury. And then I think my eighth grade year they went upstate, something like that. But I'm like, man, this is gonna be good. Like I'm learning from these guys. You can feel Ag getting more of a groove because he was a young coach for a while. Now he's getting the groove. We got some good guys, Oliver Hinkson and Eric. I'm like, this is dope. They embrace me. I'm playing well. So I'm like, this is cool. This is cool. I can get into this. And going back, Ag was I didn't meet Ag until my sixth grade year. He already knew Rick because Rick was going to the Amityville camp, and I think he was going to other camps. And I couldn't afford to go to like some of the traveling camps. You know what I'm saying? And Amityville camp, I'm like, what's that? I was playing in the yard. We was playing in the neighborhood at Reuben. We were going around the corner playing football with the stalwarts, and we was doing all of these different types of things just in the neighborhood. So I didn't know nothing about no camp. So Amityville camp, he was like, man, let's get this kid in. So they worked out a deal with my mom, payment plan wise type thing. And then that was the first time I met Ag, and he's been in my life ever since. And he's actually like a second dad. So that's why I value him, his time. I value him as a person more so than just a coach because he went the extra for not just me, but for so many guys, more than outside of what his jurisdiction is, man. That's why he's a legend for me, not just X and O's wise, but he's big time because he was really cared, man. He really cared. And it's really hard to find people like that. And he stepped in roles that he didn't need to just off the strength. So that joint was amazing. So I'm up there doing my thing, cross over. Now we going into now we big time in the eighth grade, man. We running the school. We joking. We wearing tight clothes and disrupting. We're wearing tight clothes that don't fit us and walking the whole disrupting the whole school because everybody's laughing and acting up. They bring us up. We was those guys. We was those guys. Wearing clothes that we had from third grade. Just we was those guys acting a fool, but fun bunch. And we had a bunch of different things. We had guys that fight that could dance. You know what I'm saying? We had John Powell, he could dance. We had guys that could rap. Just everything. Fight. We had smart people. We had a great class in the class of 2001. So we crossed over to ninth grade. I'm like, man, this is crazy. Back to that story from the wine bench. Funds was low. We still using food stamps. Uh, I didn't get a job yet, so I couldn't get my working papers because I wasn't 15 yet. I didn't turn 15 until eighth grade. So actually, I could have reclassed. Being my birthday, I could have reclassed and been back based on my birthday, and that might have even helped out sports wise. That's not something we was thinking about. At the Harlem, it's like you know what I'm saying, like almost like an abandoned building. What store is that? So what store is this? So you know what I'm saying, you come out with the big duffel bag and you picking stuff. And then I remember going to one of my friends' house, Sean McCalvin. Sean McCalvin was a single kid. His mom had a good job and she was taking care of my man and setting him up and he had all the latest. So I remember just, what I'm saying, one time I compared buttons to our jeans and his button said Tommy Hill, mine didn't. And I'm like, my joint is not authentic. And I'm like, oh, hard saying. And I'm like, if I know this, I know people know this. So I'm like, I got to try to get a couple of ones that I have from the mall. And I'm like, I'm not wearing this. I remember my mom like, well, why you not wearing it? I was like, Ma, it's not real. How you know it's not real? You can ask her, how you know it's not real? So my dad is getting tight. Cause my dad don't care about fashion like that. And he getting tight, like, man, what? And I'm like, it ain't real. I'm like, yo, dad, you be the butt of the jokes for this, man. I'm like, I I do the joking, mainly with my people, not in a bullying way, you know what I'm saying? I try to stand up for that. But so I'm trying to find the stuff that look as authentic as possible, and then I'm trying to piece together stuff from over time with Christmas and everything like that. And then I was like, that's the last time. They remind me, school clothes. Got a job. My first job was at UNAO, uh, camp counselor. And ever since then, I had a job. I would buy my own school clothes, Kids Foot Locker, doing telemarketing things. So a couple of different things to where I'm like, and then also know that was going to offset some strain off of them financially because again, we're kind of in that in between. We can't afford much outside of what we have to maintain. And that's a tough spot to be in for, you know what I mean? Even if you're trying to level up and then nobody really taught them about the financial system, about credit and everything like that. So the deck is kind of stacked up against you, man, if you don't know what that is going on. So again, thankful they supplied everything that we needed and we had food, you know what I mean? We had food and everything like that. And in the household, had both my parents there, so that was a blessing. So ninth grade, I go try out for JV because we was smoking teams on football and we was just ODing. We was dogging everybody. And now we get into the basketball. So I go out to JV. I wasn't thinking about varsity. Hey, like almost yanked me out. Like I got in trouble. Like, yo, what you doing? Get out of here. No, it was mother. Get out of here, P brain. That's what you call everybody. P brain. Get out of here, P brain. Yo, he told me I'm trying to leave. So I'm like, what I'm saying? I was like, I thought I was in trouble. So they was like, nah, the varsity one is after. So it was like, they got a couple spots. So you on varsity. So that was the first time I thought I was, that was the first time I was enlightened, excuse me, that I was gonna be a varsity player in ninth grade. I had no idea. Because remember, we were just playing in the make it tournaments, man, against the guys, man. We had no AAU. We had no access to any AAU, none of those different types of things, and we didn't have the money to be doing so much travel basketball and everything like that. And at least not for us, John DePass, RIP. He did a good job of getting us, little tournaments in maybe Bayshore or Brentwood, but nothing nationally. That was foreign. The biggest thing we had was St. Martin's, and I don't even remember the furthest I went with St. Martin's. I think we stayed pretty much on Long Island. We stayed in Long Island the whole time. My first taste was probably IS8, like eighth grade. So shout out to again John the Pass. That was my first taste of getting outside of Long Island. So yeah, go out there. And then now I'm a bench player off the off on varsity. We only had one uniform that year too. It was a black one. It was fire, a black uniform, and I was out for the picture day, so I didn't even in the picture. Who's out for the picture day? I'm not even in the picture, bro. And they gave me number 23. I'm like Mike Jordan. No, I don't even like Michael Jordan. I'm a Knicks fan. I was a Knicks fan, but they gave me they gave me number 23. So 5 games in, they bring me off the bench, and I help with a comeback, and they put me in the paper. Big headline, freshman list Amityville, something. That's my first clip, and she gave me a full write up, and I was like, they was talking good about me, and it was like, we got to put you in the lineup. So shout out to Timmy Lamont for giving up his spot for the betterment of the team coming off. He was our best shooter, so he came off the bench, man, and I started. Tyrell in ninth grade, I couldn't shoot, man. I was straight to the rack. I averaged about 8 points, man, but I was Rondo. I was like Rajon Rondo, with even broke. My jump shot was even more broke. We lost to Smithtown West because they packed the zone, and I never seen the zone pack in that tight. And they only shifted towards a few people, Tyrone Johnson and Tim, and they was just beating up Emerald. They weren't calling no fouls, and I was leaving me open. I shot 3 elbows that game. We lose, and they got a big write up. And I was like, man, nobody's told me really how to shoot. You know what I mean? This is a skill. This is a skill kids are learning at fourth and fifth grade now. I was never taught. So it was something I had to learn on the fly. A lot of just like that. My dad did a great job of giving me what he had. He didn't have a lot. He told me one time, man, nobody even showed him how to shoot a free throw. So he didn't even have a routine for a free throw. So this is the type of stuff that goes on in Amityville, to where you got so much raw talent. It goes back decades, back to the 60s and 70s, to where you got support systems and stuff that are giving you what they have, but not much outside of that. You know what I mean? They got the will and the want to, but they don't really have the know-how as far as the path, especially as you get to be a big time talent. And I always felt in my heart, going back to, what I'm saying, now knowing, I knew that when I was 23, but I didn't know this part of my time of what I'm saying. There was always a fighting spirit in me. Like I'm driven. I'm going to be the one for my family to get put on. And I knew that it was either going to be, I knew for a fact that it was going to be a pro sport. And right now it's NFL, mainly NBA. I was fixated on going to the NBA. And I'm like, I got what it takes, man. I'm doing what I need to do in the classroom. I was in AP classes. They dropped me out of that because I was like, man, this is way too much. I told you I was a lazy student. I'm not trying to be the guy with the book bag and it's way back there with all the, I'm not trying to do all that, man. Just let me get that so I can get my grades, so I'm eligible with clearinghouse, NCAA, period. So I was in that. Ninth grade, then end good. We lost. We got upset in the first round, man, and it was horrible. And it was like, this ain't gonna happen again. This is not gonna happen again. Not on our watch. Underclassmen had a different role, and we didn't get it done. But we went into that school a little bit cautious because you gotta respect these older guys, man. But we went into school by first quarter. We were like, this is our school, man. We won the pep rally, and we was like, man, we got the guys and we got the girls. We got it all, and the confidence level was up. So it was a completely different feel than it was in junior high. And now sports is a prominent part of Amityville High School, and I was already there since eighth grade. So I already got buzz. He's the guy, playing sports. Where in middle school, you had guys that were trying to fight me. And even going through, you could feel the animosity with some people, maybe because of jealousy and they didn't know my backstory. It was like, man, I'm struggling too. Yeah, what I'm saying? But then like maybe the game is coming a little easier, he's doing better. But in middle school, guys trying to fight me, and I was like, I'm walking away from that because I recognize that I don't want that in my life. It's really hard to get on the outside of when you're a guy that's fighting. I can't really win in the situation. If I lose the fight, I look bad. I can get hurt really bad if you fight somebody that's, they might cheat, sneaky. Or if I win the fight, chances are they not going to stop. They're going to keep trying to find you. And then, saying that's where weapons get involved. Other people can get involved. They can, they can run up and jump you. So I'm like, nah, I'd rather you just, call me. And there was a couple times where there was a couple guys and I was like, until it die down or you find another person to fight, I'm not trying to do that. And I'm not naming no names, but that was real. By the time in high school, that wasn't really that much of an issue for me because now the sports players are at the top. The fighting dudes and everything like that, fighting dudes that had a little bit of stuff, those were the guys that were the successful ones in middle school, if that makes sense. When you're in high school, it's more of it shifts to the guys who's getting write-ups. So I got a write-up in my ninth grade year. So with this, man, I got my brother and my sister. Me and my brother, we used to clash a lot because we had different interests. And I was always one of the ones, I'm throwing baseball with my dad. My brother wasn't as naturally athletic as me. So he veered off and was more to Kung Fu and he liked the Nickelodeon. So we was different until we got a little bit older. And then he started loving basketball. So I think we started meshing a little bit more. My brother would bring me up to Hofstra, and there was some resentment from P because now he's 10 years younger than Jerron, but my dad was like, that's too big a gap to be bringing him along. So he would bring me, but he wouldn't bring P. And, P looked at it as like, man, my older brother don't love me. And then I feel like my older brother was like, man, you got dad in the household. And, I don't. And I'm like, he's giving us the same as he's giving you. So I got all of this moving parts, even at an early age. You know what I mean? I'm trying to make my own money to help them. I'm watching my sister a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And Friday nights, ever since I can remember, we over my Uncle V's house, and they used to live on Maryland, uh, off of 110. We over there. So, there's smoking and drinking going on. The fights, you know what I'm saying, as far as like the Holyfield fight, they would order the pay-per-view fights. And they have everybody over there, man. And it'll be like 1, 2 in the morning, and you were in the other room, and you feel somebody come pick you up, put you in the car so you could go home. So Friday night, we was over there picking up, the McDonald's or pizza, they put their money together and get that for the kids. So that was a pretty cool time. Then they moved to the plaza. So, it's one door down, one door down from my guy Eugene Nottingham, Antoine. So that was the new Friday spot. But I'm getting older and I'm like, I'm not really feeling this Friday spot. Not really feeling this Friday spot, man. Cigarette smoke and all that. Like, but I had to go through with it, up until a certain age until it was like, man, you can just leave me here. You know what I'm trying to say? And this is a conversation we had before. But this is the type of stuff that go on, man. So you mingling and everything, and you have to dispose of your environment. And when funds is low, man, it's a pressure packed situation, and then people react and lash out differently. They react differently. So my way was the sports. I seen it from an early age. I'm driven internally. And then I was really hard on myself, man, to the point where it was probably negative. I have a good game like that write up game. I was hyped. But my numbers, I'm looking at like, man, I could have had 3 more assists. I could have had 4 more rebounds. I could have had like 6 more points. And it didn't allow me to fully enjoy moments, even moving forward. So I recognize that now, and then that's something that I would have my younger athletes take a look at, man. Smell the flowers along the road, man. Smell the flowers, and then the people outside, if they are smelling the flowers along the journey, man, don't knock them for that. Don't knock them for that, man, because people are losing their lives, man. I almost didn't have a life. So, you know what I mean? I can't like far too often in the sports world. It's always what's next, what's next, what's next. especially in the social media blitz that we got going on. What's next? How about just settle in and be thankful and happy and grateful and be able to celebrate what you got for right now. So that was something that I struggled with, and it took me a very long time to get to that point to where I could just be in the now. 10th grade goes along, man. I got my own money, man. So we go out to Tenga Outlet in Pennsylvania. My brother drive out. I remember we riding out, man, and we got the Jay-Z going, a Reasonable Doubts, and we out there vibing, and we gonna buy stuff. Boom! I got my Nautica, I got my champ. I'm ready to go for school. So that actually was eighth grade. That was eighth grade. That was eighth grade when he did that. And after that, I had the kids the kid Foot Locker job, so I'll get 30%. So I was cooking. I had the outrageous sneakers. We had the sneaker game. Got my brother some. You know what I'm saying? And we was cooking. And I was just running through the mall and buying stuff. So I felt good with what I had on, man, for my own money. And then I didn't have to ask my parents for that, man. So that was definitely a blessing. And it was also like, man, I don't mind working for mine. I'm not just trying to look for a handout. Just show me the way, and I'm going to do it. And that was part of me. That was part of the fabric of me, man. I don't mind working for it. Now there were certain jobs I would rather not do. I don't know if I don't know if I'm as blue collar as some other people, but if I really needed to, I would. Well, I'd rather not. Going in 10th grade, I'm on varsity on both sports. So me and Antoine, like we're one of the top guys on the team. We're in the rotation on both. You know what I'm saying? And football, I didn't end the way we wanted. I think that we were underutilized, and some of our younger players we was kind of underutilized, and started utilizing us more, and it just didn't come through. And the reason why I'm saying that is because it ended up being that Antoine's a high level Division I guy, and I probably was like a mid level Division I to even borderline high Division I football player, with the letters that we was receiving, and the guys that was in front of us weren't, but they were dope. And there is a pecking order in Amityville and in most schools. The upperclassmen get first dibs. And then sometimes it's hard for coaches to get outside of that. And I understand, you know what I mean? Everybody, they paid their dues and they good players. But sometimes you got to rock with talent. And I think we could have went a little further. So we went into the basketball season. And this is probably the worst loss of my basketball career. We get to the playoffs and then we go out to the number one team. It was the number one seed in the I want to say in the state for it, and they had the play of the year, and we had them by 9, something like that, with like a minute and a half. Their fan base, we're on the road at their school. They haven't lost a game there. They're walking out. They're walking off. They're walking out. They're walking off, and they get a couple calls. They didn't go our way. They went their way. A couple shots went down. We missed a few shots. They start walking back in. They end up tying the game, and we go to overtime. And then there was a technical. I think it was an overtime technical, and then we end up losing. We just fumbled the bag, crazy. So my seniors just crying, and it's like, man, I'm devastated because I was like, man, we got a real shot to win it. This team ended up winning. It was Southampton with Courtney Pritchard, man. So shout out to him. It's the worst loss of my high school career, and I don't want to feel that no more. So we went into that season, went into that summertime, and this is probably my first faith walk when it came to sports and really overall life. You know what I mean? We wasn't a big church going family, anything like that, but my mom was starting to cross over into this lifestyle of reading the Bible and talking this talk. And I was inviting it because what I'm saying, I feel like that was something that was embedded in me as well. Just didn't know it. Empire State tryouts, Rob Hodgson is the coach, and he's from William Floyd. I personally feel, and I don't know this off the top. I mean, I can't give you this as a fact, but it felt like it. I don't think he was really feeling Ag too tough, and I don't think he was feeling Amityville guys too tough, especially the guys that was trying out, except for Billy Kretz. And Billy Kretz definitely deserved 100% to make that team. Me and Jason Frazier was in 9th grade. He still was developing. He wasn't what you know him to be now, but he's still a really good player. We went to the last cut. So we got to the last cut. They cut it down. My mom was like, "You're gonna be on this team." She told me before, a week or two before, "You're gonna be on that team." So final cut. They're like, "We're gonna call you." And I let my dad, like, "No, no, no, no. Did he make the team now or not? Did he make the team?" And he was like, "He didn't make the team." And my dad was like, "What?" So we looking at the roster. I was like, "Man, I think you should have probably made the team." I see maybe like two guys that you probably should have made. So I was, devastated, especially because, me and my mom got a bond and she was like, "You on there?" So I'm like, "All right, all right, we on there." She ain't never really lied to me. So nighttime come, coach is tight, coach Ag brought me back. We all I wrote my dad, but before we were talking in the parking lot, and this was before cell phones. So get a call at like almost midnight, saying we kind of sleepy. Hello. And I can't remember, I'm not going front. I don't know if it was Ag, the coach, Hodgson, or an assistant, but it was somebody, one of the coaches. And they said, "Listen, man, you in. Something went down and you in. The guy that we want, he out." So I get to the thing. I already had sneakers and everything. I bought sneakers and there was some like Jordan type joints and matching with my uniform. So I get there and we was hosting it at Hofstra University. So we doing our walk with all of the. It was dope. It was dope. And I think the lady Judy Foudy, she had said something. She was like the guest of honor from the U.S. soccer team. So that was pretty dope. But all of my stuff had a line through it, and it said Marcel Street, and there was a line through it, and they put Tristan Smith. So even on the program, it was supposed to be Marcel Street, and he happened to go to the same high school. He happened to go to the same high school as at William Floyd High School. So that was amazing. So I made it in the last hour. So that was like my first like experience of it's never over until it's all the way over. And then it also gave me the confidence to be able to push through even more. I was like, even times where it's like, man, I want to give up. There was all I can't give up. I can't give up. And I'm starting to see like I got potential to do something major with this. Now we're starting to get a little bit of buzz. I got my first interest in football. My first interest in football was in my 10th grade year. And there was a call on a nurse's phone from Phil Fulmer, um, who went to Tennessee, from Phil Fulmer, who coached at Tennessee. And it was either my 10th grade or 11th grade year, so forgive me if I forget, but it was right after them winning the national championship with T. Martin. So I'm bugging, like, I know exactly who you are. You got the deep accent. And I remember when he said, "We're trying to get you down here, son," like that. And I'm like, what? SEC football. But my mind was not on football. I hated practice because I played both ways, both sides. So it was like I wasn't a super physical. I didn't like colliding, but everything else came natural. I can catch, what I'm saying, I back pedal. I was a good tackler. I could get guys on the ground. So really, cornerback would have been my jam for sure. 6'2". Going into high school, college, I was 6'1", 172. So, what I'm saying? You could white shirt me and put 15, 20 pounds on me. I'm a corner. Basketball is a lot tougher. It's slotted to the taller guys, taller, longer arms, length, 6'6" and above. So I'm already in there, and it's a smaller roster spot. So anybody just take a look at it. But that collision in football is different. So my head is still good, so I ain't tripping. But going to 11th grade, you're like, this is we gonna get it done. We got 11th grade school grades is going good. I ain't tripping. I'm getting through. I'm honor roll type guy. High 80s, low 90s. If I got to cheat, I got to cheat, man. I'm eligible. What I'm saying, certain classes, chemistry, whatever with that. Just make sure that's in the 70s. I ain't trying to do all of that. And that was my thought process. I'm trying to get the scholarship. My first interest in basketball was Villanova. So they gave me a questionnaire. So I'm going there. I know Big East basketball. That's where I want to go. Steve Lapis was the coach. I didn't even know about fit. Nobody was talking about go to your fit. The recruitment process was just a free fall. My family had no idea. We had no idea. Junior year comes in. By ninth grade, we actually have our rec center built. We didn't have any rec center. We had no indoor place to really play other than like in the middle schools when they were open on certain days. And a lot of fights happened at the middle schools, whether it was Copeg or Amityville. So you gotta approach that with caution because there was everybody could come in there. So you got some people waiting for different people, and then you in the midst of that. Can you leave? You don't want mistaken identity, none of that. So you had to be selective about when you went up to that. But then we had the A Center, and the A Center was a big deal for our neighborhood because they had classrooms in it, and they was doing tutoring. They was doing different types of educational things. So again, that was my first job was as a camp counselor. But we will actually be able to go play up there at least 2 or 3 times a week. So we all look forward to that thing, man. And we were running short courts. We get 2 of those things going, man, and that just helped sharpen up the skills. That helped sharpen up the skills for us. But again, no AAU. I actually had a chance to be a gaucho in 10th grade, and I don't think anybody knows that. My neighbor, Harry was a cool dude. He was much older. He ran with the older crowd, but he took an interest into me when I was shooting on the court. He just come check me out. He just moved down there in a little apartment down there, tucked off in one of the houses in the basement. So he was like, man, if you ever need anything, man, hit me up. You want to go lift some weights? Saying that he was like, man, I'm cool with it. And he was naming guys that I know. And then, I asked my mom and I told him, she was like, yeah, he introduced himself to her. That he was, he was taking me under his wing, kind of like my brother do. My brother did. And my brother was at school, doing his thing at college, doing bench pressing. That was it. He was trying to get swole up here. He bench pressing and we bicycle and he took me out to Jamaica Ave and, helped me buy some stuff. He helped me get this OD DaVucci leather jacket. Man, I was shining OD in 10th grade. I was shining OD. You know what I'm saying? Had the butter soft like people was going with the Averex, man. I had the DaVucci joint. So I was I was shining. But he was cool with Janelle Jones's people out in North Babylon, and Janelle Jones was a good player for North Babylon with Barry Baker. So we developed a friendship, and he went out to go try out for the Gaucho. So he asked me to come along. I was over there, and I had Chloe like, "You want to come?" And yeah, I'm there. So we go out there. I wasn't even expecting to try out. I'm gonna play the sideline. So he was like, "Hey, what about my man over here? Whoever was coaching, I don't remember. You working out?" Because it was kind of like an open tryout, but they already had guys that they knew. They probably was looking to, maybe fill like 2 or 3 spots or whatever, maybe 4. Yeah, absolutely. Boom. I remember us doing 2-on-2s and 3-on-3s and weaves and a couple of them we was getting up and down. And I remember Levi Levine was there from the University of Albany. I remember Adrian Walton was there. He went to the University of Fordham. Whole lot of game. He got a lot of street credibility and street ball. And I was cooking. I had no idea what was going on. I was just doing me. Left hand bandit, right hand is left hand bandit. Hesitation was my thing. I had a little floater. My game changed like 3 or 4 times over the course of my career. So at this time, I got the floater game going on. You know what I'm saying? So my game was different than it did then. But it was like, who's this guy? And it was like, oh yeah, he a guard out in Amityville. And we got jammed up because we lost that game, so we didn't make that much noise. And then in Long Island, man, you got to make noise for a lot of the city guys to know you. And it's like a foreign land out there as far as sports. But we got an attachment. Amityville has an attachment to like really all of the boroughs because of our unique. I guess you can just say the people that live there. You got crossover. We got crossover people coming from Queens, and even my mom. She came from Queens. She came from Queens early in her childhood. So you got this, but on the court, they're like, I can't really get with us. But we had some talent. It was just untapped. Who that guy? So they put me aside. I was like, bro, you want to come back? I was like, I do. But, tell your parents and everything like that. They, gave me the number. So I gave them in the shades of my dad. I was like, yo, dad, we got to go to this thing. I'm trying to say, nah, that's Bronx, that's far. It's going to be tough. So he didn't know. He didn't know how valuable that was. So I could have been a gaucho in 10th grade. Fast forward, 11th grade, football. We got two major teams, Comstock and Huntington. Comstock and Huntington to jump over, man. Big time teams, a lot of talent, well coached. Guys go in Division One, guys go in Division Two in multiple sports, and we lost to both of them in the regular season. We lost to both of these guys. So we start picking up steam, man. We needed a couple of big games to get in, just to get in the playoffs. So we get in, and then we got to go play Comstock. Oh man! So I'm talking about first drive of the game. They open up the hole right in the middle of the line, and they take off. And I'm playing safety, so my responsibility was, saying deep rights. I take my steps and I see this open. So, oh my goodness! And I already know my team will be deflated if we give up this touchdown. And again, this drive is like, we can't have this happen. This is a good team. We got the chance. So I take it upon myself, and I watched a lot of college football. Ed Reed was my homie, and I remember him always stripping the ball, man. The football separates you from being a really good player to a great player. So I thought of myself for being a great player because I'm gonna get the football, interception, ball in the air, I'm getting it. Or they're not thinking about it. So this dude is like, he was a bigger guy too, almost like a fullback. So, they carry out their fake ease, and I'm tracking them down. So I secure the tackle, and then I rip as hard as I could, and then I push him into the end zone, and the ball sits. I'm talking about like sits on the 2-yard line, and somebody came and fell on it, going the other way. We moving down the field. Antoine punches it in. We never look back. We beat them on their home field, and I remember that. And that right there opened up a whole lot more recruiting for me, because I think that film went out, and Lenny Matera did a great job of getting that stuff out for me and being honest when people were asked about me. Huntington was a big battle. Scoreboard wasn't working, and it was going back and forth. So we get that done, big time. We go play Garden City. Now we got the whole neighborhood united playing Garden City, a powerhouse from the Nassau County. We ain't never been here before. No, none of the teams that have ever been here. They didn't used to have this Long Island Championship a while back. So they're the first team to even be here. And we're like, we're going to get this done. And we played not a very good game. I say we played like a C, maybe a C minus. And they was cooking us, man. Dude ran me over. I was like, my gosh, a dude named Mahoney ran me over. And then it was like, we made just enough plays, you know what I mean, to get that thing done. Yeah, the whole thing. My mom in the car praying, got people driving up from Maryland and all different spots. We got that thing, first championship in the neighborhood's history. Preserved. We got parade, we on there parade. Carry it in. We're gonna carry this into the basketball season. Same thing. Same thing. We got to get this. So again, man, I was really hard on myself, man. And even if I didn't play a good game and my teams played a good game, I was irritated and I was upset with myself. And that's not how it should be. Billy Crest had a phenomenal game, and I had 6 points on TV, man. I was dejected. Running back, I want to play tomorrow. So we go upstate, man. And I had my first career dunk, and it's on a poster, boom, in the back of the paper. Flap it open in the back of the paper. I'm signing it up there and everything. And I'm like, this is crazy. I ended up getting the state MVP of our first public school championship, our first championship in the history of the school. So now my name is ringing out a little bit. Made second team all Long Island. Letters are coming in. Got my first offer from Manhattan College. Shout out to Manhattan College. I was like, I need to go big time. And athletes be careful of that because that assistant coach, first of all, they loved me, man. They was there from early before we even won the state championship. And that assistant coach was Mike Malone. He's the head coach of the Denver Nuggets. So people move in there, man. So man, that would have been an awesome fit for me, but I dogged him. Like, and that's crazy that I think about that now. You don't want to do that, man. Respect everybody. It's not like I wasn't showing the respect, but in my mind, I'm like, nah. But now we got, people calling us. We can't call out of class. We got all types of people, man. Now I'm playing with my first taste of AAU. Like I got the call from the Long Island Panthers. So now I'm playing with Gary Charles, and this is my first taste of all of this, man. And it's like this is mind blowing. Now I'm at ISA playing with all of the big time players against them. We traveling all over the country, and I'm seeing that basketball is more than just basketball now, man. This is business too. I'm seeing different people moving around, certain kids. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. But I'm built for this. I just need help. I just need an opportunity. I just need some tutelage. And Chuck Vance, man, he played a big part for me that summer, man, because we had so much talent, man, that there was only one basketball, man. So people was getting pushed aside, just depending on the relationships, you know what I mean? And everybody's a good player, man. We had pros on that team, Charlie Villanueva, Sebastian Telfair. We had a high level college guys, Eric King and Curtis Sumter, Jason Frazier, Eric Ferguson, and more. Bring guys from others, Major Wingate, bringing guys in. So he helped me to navigate that best I could. I even got invited to ABCD camp, and I didn't go because my family was moving. And we ended up not really having any place to go, so we had to put our stuff in a storage. And then we moved in with my godmother in the North Babylon area. So John Quintana took my spot. So I don't know what that could have been for me if I went to ABCD camp. I felt pretty confident. I was playing pretty good. But we were just loaded. So I come back, man. We dominate. Jason and I dominated Deer Park Summer League. And it's like, we're going to dominate. That's the job. We're going to dominate, and I'm going to win Player of the Year. That was my thought process. And my senior year, we're gonna own this thing. We're not gonna lose a game. And so now we're living in North Babylon, back and forth with my aunt in Amityville. So got to get rides and all these different types of things, moving parts, paying for the storage, and paying them certain money. So it was tough. And then we also try to save money so we can try to get in another spot. So that was my senior year. That was the life of my senior year, and I'm like, I want to sign early. I see all the big time players sign early. So I had no idea how this thing went. I even thought by being a McDonald's nominee in top, 100 or wherever I was at, that I can actually make the McDonald's roster team. I had no idea that was already selected. So I was dejected when that didn't call my name. That's how green I was. Crazy. Real crazy. So now we out there, and it was tough. We was trying to navigate money again. Money's not great, but I'm enjoying my senior year. We smoking teams in football. We ended up going to the Long Island Championship, and we lost a heartbreaker. By 1 point. So I lost my last football game. But still I'm getting letters crazy at the house, at the office. Coaches is bringing us out of practice, out of class, and to name a few, we got Stanford University offered me for football, Iowa, Michigan State, North Carolina State, Syracuse, West Virginia, Pitt, Boston College, Rutgers, and probably a couple of other ones that I'm missing out on. But and then for me, basketball is still a mid-major player. So we had Boston University, we had Manhattan that offered, and they were both really good programs at the time. We had a couple of interests from some other schools, and then they started catching on late. St. John's came into the play, Illinois, Texas A&M came in right at my senior year. And I think Manhattan and Texas A&M was the best fit for me. So we end up losing our first game to a very good Malloy team. We just came pretty much straight from the field with no real practice from football field to playing them within a few days. And that was tough in Manhattan. And we ran the table. We won. And in the midst of it, we had one of the most exciting games I ever been a part of against Bishop Timon the second time up there, and they was ready for us, man. They were really good. They were a really good team. They had a lot of talent. They was tall, you know what I mean, and well coached, and they was cooking us at halftime up by 14. And Ag was not a yeller and a screamer. He didn't do all of that. He was not a yeller and a screamer. He just kept it 1,000 with you. You know, you're not playing well. So he came in there, man, slamming the door, boom. And he starts blacking on us. I mean, he's saying everything, and then he's cursing, and he's saying all these different types of things. And he throws something, boom, by the JV guy, and they duck, and then he leaves. So we stand up and we respond. We at each other. I mean, this is not how it's going in. Absolutely not. Because if I'm mistaken, it was an early game to one of them trap game, and they were ready. And we got it all the way back down to 2. We was down by 2 with 5 seconds, 6 seconds maybe. I got the ball. So I'm like, I'm built for these moments. I practice these, that 3, 2, 1 in the neighborhood, 3, 2, 1. So I'm like, I'm not nervous, you know what I'm saying? Like I got this, and we got the team, and we're gonna get this done. And it's a pressure-packed situation. So I break dude down, and then the help cam. So I'm thinking, you know, dude, I'm at the elbow, so I'm like, this is a rhythm shot for me. I shoot this, but I'm like, it's double contested. So I'm like, do I shoot it? Do I do a Kobe? You know what I'm saying? Kobe type situation, or do I dump it down? Because I seen right at the last second, Max Rose cutting in front of my face right to the basket, dump it down, boom, lay up at the buzzer. Crazy, everybody hype. Then, you know what I'm saying, we ended up beating in double overtime, man. Then we spanked Benjamin Bannock. That was my last high school game. We ended up winning that. So, college. I'm on to college, man. My high school career was a legendary one, man. One player of the year, you know what I mean? They got 2 basketball titles, 1 football title. We got a Rutgers Cup for the best Suffolk County team. First time we won that since the 60s. And this is a kid that almost was aborted, to where like I'm the guy I got voted most likely to succeed in my grade, to where people actually believe that he's going to be the one to get it done. So I heap that pressure on me because I'm like, I have to get it done. You know what I'm saying? All of the hood dudes, you know, rolling dice and everything, they was looking like, man, that's the guy. And, you know, you could feel some animosity from some of the other guys that was looking to, you know, they was trying to create their own way. And for me, I was putting pressure on myself, but also feeling good. You know, I was feeling I had my ego was moving up a little bit, and I was disrespecting a couple of the writers that I used to write for, especially the guy Rebel, who I apologized to, who when I see him later, he write for more of the lower mid majors. And I remember seeing him at the Wheelchair Classic, and I was kind of just getting one of them. You know, I'm big time now, so people don't do that. I had to apologize to him for that, man, because I seen him down line. I seen him on the way up and the way down. So don't do that to people. But I'm feeling myself, man. I got to pick a school. St. John's is in the mix, man, and it was hard. I went to Texas A&M, and they showed me a lot of love. Bernard King, he was not the Bernard King, but his name was Bernard King, their best player at the time. And he was like, man, we need you. They just got smoked by Oklahoma, and they had a Hollis Price and Quantus White. They smoked them dudes, and it was like, we need you, man. The TJ Ford coming to Texas, we need you. This is your spot. So I'm like, man, this is dope. That was looking like the Wild Wild West. It was like January 2001. And I'm like, this is different. My mind, I had nobody to help me with the recruiting process to kind of just look at all the things. I got all these football letters, and I'm kind of like, not even really looking at it, man. I'm looking at basketball. I'm looking at Big East basketball. So St. John's came into it, and it was like, man, that's hard to pass up. Yes, your backyard. They play in the Garden. So that was the option I took, man. Jarvis being a black coach, I'm like, this is going to be beneficial for me. I can do it. So going into Big East basketball, man, like this was different too, because we got a lot of stuff going on at home too that a lot of people ain't know, man. We was in between, you know, paying stuff and paying the storage and everything like that, and trying to get situated. So I'm gonna come back to that in a minute. So get on there, brand new environment. I wasn't taught a whole lot as far as, you know, just the overall big time terminology of the game. I just was playing off instinct, you know, raw talent. So, Coach Jay, like first of all, the program at first, man, was hurting my knees, me jumping around. I had no strength training program, so I'm feeling all of this. Knees is hurting, I can't even get off the ground. I'm like, this ain't good. Right off top, we run in the stadium, and I'm like, well, wow, this is hurting. So we'll get into it, and you got Marcus Hatton, you got Willie Shaw, you got all these guys, man, with length and athleticism. So I'm trying to boogie, and they just sit there, boom, 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 and he's like, change floor, and I'm yelling at me, and I'm like, I'm stuck, man. I'm like, where's my tools at? I never was taught how to use my shoulder and retreat dribble and change speeds, change, saying change direction, change speeds. I was taught that, little tricks, hit the back of the leg, pull the arm, yoke the arm, like none of that. I wasn't taught any of that. So I'm just trying to face up, man. Like, they sitting all on that. I gotta figure this out. So then we had a meeting. No. Before we get to the meeting, man, 9/11 happened. Got 9/11. Boom, boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? Then we go outside, see the smoke. They locked down the school, and I'm tripping. Like my mind is on tweak mode. Like, am I gonna have to go into the army? You know what I mean? To fight this, and I'm like, I don't really want to do that. Well, I don't really want to do that, but you know what I'm saying? They beating up cab drivers, and it was wow. In New York. So Knicks weren't very good. So we was the next town up. We was the next team up. So we the next team up and getting a whole lot of publicity. ESPN is following us, doing a documentary this season, my freshman year. So I'm trying to process all this. I know my family right now, man, they ain't in a great spot. I'm trying to find my way to get some minutes. We had a meeting. Coach was like, anybody outside of these guys, we're not trying to shoot. I don't want y'all shooting threes. So I'm like, what? I shoot threes? So I'm out there hesitating now. And I'm not playing like my thought. And I had some dreams where I was moving very, very slow and everybody's moving fast paced, man. And these dreams kept reoccurring over my life. And man, and it still frustrated me. I'm in my sleep trying to, so I'm like, this kind of feels like that. And I'm like, I don't like it. So freshman year, I kind of fumbled the bag in my opinion. I had an opportunity. I started like 3 or 4 games and I didn't play well. I fumbled the bag. So I take ownership for that. And also when it was starting to when my game needed development, I was embarrassed because when they, go in the facility, everybody could watch me. I was embarrassed. So I didn't go work on my game. I just wanted to go hide, go eat my food and do my thing and do our workouts and get out. I was feeling pressure on myself and I was like, it was going outward. Like people were looking at me crazy. Well, I just needed to go work on my game, so I didn't do that. So freshman year it was, and I take ownership on that. Freshman year come in, I'm looking like Darryl Hill and Elijah Ingram. These guys coming in, I don't see them keeping me in the rotation. So I went and sat down with Coach Jay, Coach Jarvis, my parents, and I'm like, what do you, what? Give it to me. Give it to me straight. Give me the truth. Now we're gonna let the best players play. That's all I need to hear. I go because I was thinking about transferring. I was gonna transfer to Georgetown on a football scholarship and then move over as a walk-on basketball and then flip the scholarship so I could play right away. That was my first one. And I had a couple other ones. Still got a little buzz from high school. If I fumble the bag in sophomore year, I'm gonna have no buzz. So I'm like, so I go back and get with Ice, and I'm training crazy, man. I come back, I'm training. Now I'm on the summer league team. I think I was on the summer league team with Ferg and them, and that's when we beat Robert Zerbiak. That was a big deal because they were running through everybody. I go back confident. But before that, there's still a lot on me because during Christmas time, my freshman year, my parents had to go and move into a 1-bedroom hotel. So you could imagine, you got all this, you got cameras following you, got the paper, you do bad, and they talk bad about you on the paper. I lost to Fordham in Smush Park, I played bad, and they talking bad about you on the paper. You go home and your parents are in a 1-bedroom hotel, and it wasn't cheap either. It was hard to get on the other side of that. So my sister is there, and P is just floating around. So I was taking a lot of my money, and my travel money was giving it to them. I buy a little something, but I was giving it to them. Do we got any Christmas presents for Zandy? Not really. So go buy some presents, do what I can just so she can have a Christmas, just so she can have a Christmas. So I'm like, this is on me, you know what I'm saying? I'm dealing with that. And prior to that, we couldn't pay for the storage, and the storage had everything. I'm talking about all our belongings, my press clippings, baseball cards, photo albums, all the trophies. I had 3 or 4 7-foot trophies all the way back to my Little League baseball trophies. All the letters that we received, we had a little bucket of stuff like that. We lost all of it. So, here I am, 18 years old, trying to process this, man. This is now life kicks you in the chest, man. We lost all of our belongings, man. So we have nothing. We have nothing. We have nothing to show for that. We lost all of our belongings. All the memories we just got to try to keep in here. So we lost all of that. And, so when they told me that hurt, because it was accumulation of all of the good memories and the hard work and the perseverance. And we have none of that now, So really all of the clipping that I get is coming from somebody else. I lost all my trophies. Like all my evidence of me cooking is gone. All the pictures of my baby, of me being a baby, my childhood is gone. So we essentially walked away from everything, and that's a tough thing to do, and that's a tough thing to do, and that's not what they put on me, but I put it on myself because it's part of the journey, and I'm thinking to myself, there's people in far worse situations, but it hurt my whole freshman year because I was twisted, but I go back sophomore year ready to go. And I'm ducking in because I don't want people to know that we're at the motel, meet me over here, pick me up over here, just out of embarrassment. But we was trying, man. I was working and trying to get stuff done. And I'm like, go back, play well at preseason. Then we get first game, I played pretty good, a couple minutes, like 9 minutes, catch my first real in-game dunk. Kind of a nice flush dunk. Next string of games, it was just, 2 minutes, toward the end of the game, like a walk-on. What's going on, man? Did I fumble the bag? What did I do? What did I do to him? And then I started recognizing, Jason Frazier committed to Villanova. And from what I'm hearing, Jason Frazier and Kurt Sumter was supposed to come to St. John's along with Lenny Cook. Lenny Cook tried to go to the league. And to Villanova. So I really feel like because Jason didn't come here, I think there was maybe subconscious or even directly, man, you're at the end of the bench. You're at the end of the bench, man. So that hit me hard, man, because I'm like, I'm gonna have to transfer. But if I get my opportunity, I'm gonna go, man. But it was really hard to stay rock solid with my family. Then I ended up getting into a new relationship, Italian girl. She's from Howard Beach. There ain't no black people over there. So I'm processing all this, man. School was cool. Wasn't that tough. I was getting what I needed, but I was just, how am I gonna get on the outside of this, man? This is not my way to be successful. I need to be successful for my family, for me, and for Amityville. It's me, and I'm not doing it, and I'm embarrassed right here in my backyard, and it's not getting done. My grandfather, he never reached out to me, you know what I'm saying? So my brother was there. My brother was there. He keep it going, man. He was proud. And I didn't recognize how people were proud of me, even though I was in that. I was just looking at, man, I'm trash. And going back to my freshman year, it was crazy because I'm just remembering on the fly, I actually had an incident my freshman year after 9/11. I'm with 6'11", 6'9", and 6'6". And we're going to the deli. in the Chinese spot. Abe Keita, Kyle Cuff, Willie Shaw. We're going back to their apartments and just go hang out, play video games, talk trash. So they park and I'm filling on my phone. I'm the last one to go across. Jaywalking is not an issue in New York. So I go and I see the detective, unmarked car, you know what I'm saying, like a Crown Vic, big light on the. So I see them and and then I see them loop back in the middle of the street. So I'm already jaywalking and I start moving back, like in front of the car, and then I keep moving back more in front of the car, and they angle right in on me. They're gonna put the spotlight on me. You know, this is I got this 3XT hat low baggy pin. All four of them jump out the car, guns drawn, and I'm like, so I'm looking behind me like, dang, somebody's wild. They're talking to me. A freshman, a student athlete at St. John's University. They pull up on me like that. They run down on me like that. Hands up, officer. You know what's going on? You fit the description of a murder suspect. Murder suspect. So they're like, you know what I'm saying, do you got your ID on you? And I'm like, yes, I do. It's in my back right, you know what I'm saying? And then they like walk over there to the fence. So I put my hand on the fence and old couple looking directly at me. Old white couple looking directly at me. Like, look at this hooligan. And I'm like, yo, I'm a student athlete on a full scholarship. St. John. So now I can't see behind me, but I'm like, please, there's a pole missing, you know, that connects the fence. There's a pole missing here, so the fence is shaking. So I'm like, I open up my stance. So I'm like, and hold the fence tight. So I'm like, if this fence fall, they're gonna shoot me. They're gonna shoot me because they're gonna think I'm running. And they're gonna light me up, and that's gonna be end. And this can't happen. I'm a good dude. I've never been arrested. I don't smoke. I don't even smoke weed. I don't smoke. Drink a little bit. I don't even really drink. I'm not me. So I hear Abe Gita, African. And when he gets excited, he stutters. So he's trying to say, so I'm trying not to laugh because we always joking on Abe. I'm like, bro, Abe, you the wrong person to be trying to co-sign right now. So they're like, do you got your identification? I'm like, yes, sir. I play for the University of St. John's basketball team. Back right pocket. I got my identification from school, and then I also got my driver's license. But I'm not putting my hand in my pocket, sir. With all respect, you can go ahead and grab it. So he goes and grabs it, and then he's like, they put the, you know what I'm saying? Because there was two more cops back there, and then two walked up, and then there was one right on me, but they all had their guns on me. And I'm like, they're like, oh, I'm sorry, we're a big fan. I'm like, yo, take me home. Take me home, man. I was done. That was my freshman year. So you know what I'm saying? The racial profiling right in there, man. It's tough. It's tough, man. And it's like, I'm far from a criminal. But man, they ran down on me, man. So fast forward to January of my sophomore year, I seen the worst shooting game of my life. And I had to witness that. I called my mom prior to the game. I'm about to get it done, mom. I'm not going to think. You know, she's like, get it done, Tris. ESPN game versus Syracuse, Carmelo Anthony. They play his own, so I'm like, I'm shooting. I ain't even thinking. Nice rims. I'm out there shooting early. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like a real dude. I'm out there shooting early. They put me in. Pump fake, one dribble, 1 for 1. Here it come. This is the night that I turned my career around. Get yanked. And I'm sitting here like this the whole game. I seen a gentleman shoot 2 for 22 from the 3-point line and 2 for 24 from the field. And I said, transfer. My career is over. I was jaded. I was hurt. To watch another guy, and it's his job to keep firing it up because he was also a really good shooter. But I seen Elijah Ingram shoot 2 for 24 from the field. And they're like, they have that little faith in me that I made one shot less than him on 23 less attempts and they won't put me back in the game. Obviously, it's not his night. We got to go another route. They didn't do it. And then that's when I knew it was over. And I was jaded. And I wish I would have handled myself better because we ended up winning the NIT, but I was just there but checked out. And I wish I would have loved on my teammates more than I did. But that hurt me bad. That hurt me really bad, man, because I felt like Coach J didn't tell me the truth. He could have just told me the truth, and I could have been at another situation, or I would have just stayed in the situation knowing what it was. So I transferred, and I knew I had no buzz, so I was going to transfer to a smaller school. So I ended up going to St. Francis. I knew I had to stay close because of my family situation. So now at St. Francis New Beginnings, I'm going to be the one to bring them to the tournament. In the made the tournament. I'll be that guy. I'll be the focal point with these other groups of guys. This other group. So now summertime, we're struggling. You know what I mean? We're really, really struggling as far as money, man. So I took a little security job. I'm no security. We don't like that, man. So I'm going driving out east at Computer Associates. I'm out there. I'm riding with my dad. We have one car. So I'm riding with my dad and my mom. She circled back and bring us home. And I got to get up at 5 in the morning to work at 7. So I'm sitting in the break room. Oh, we had peanut butter and jelly. I mean, we didn't even have jelly. We had a peanut butter sandwich and water. You know what I'm saying? Until I get my first check. We struggling. And I heard my mom, she didn't know I wasn't asleep. I heard my mom say, I'm proud of him. And that still hits me crazy to this day because I'm like, I am in no position for you to be proud of me, Mom. I'm failing. And every time I wanted to quit, I thought of that. I thought of my mom. I thought of the Lord. Like, I thought of, I cannot quit. There was times along the way where I just wanted to give up. You know, it was like, that was only for, it was only for a small window of time, a couple hours. And it was like, no. And then that was that fighter spirit in me. This is around the time my mom let me know that maybe a little later, yeah, because I wasn't quite older. This was a couple of years later when she said, you know what I mean? We was almost aborted, dude. We were this close. We paid for it and everything. So that made me recognize that the fighting spirit, I have a purpose. And that's stuff. I'm in a security uniform, but it ain't over for me. And then there's also people that wouldn't mind being in my shoes, so that kept me going. So I get to St. Francis. They set me up in an apartment, me and Mike Wilson. And Mike Wilson's a lovely dude, man. I had so much going on that I couldn't even bond with my guy as much as he probably would like to for me. So, man, if he sees this, man, I just hope that he forgives me for the amount of pressure that I was dealing. I was dealing with my girlfriend at the time. I was dealing with my mom, you know, trying to find money to be able to help them. My dad is trying to make ends meet. We're trying to get over the hump financially, staying in a motel. My brother is trying to find his way as a young athlete, and he's, getting into situations. My sister's trying, like, we're all trying at the same time. And I'm like, I have to be the one to do it. And I have to do it for everybody. And that's not what they even put on me, but I put it on myself. And it weighed on me heavy. So even in my transfer year, they was on me. Dude was on me crazy, Ron Daniel, and I had no idea why, but he was trying to set the tone for the rest of the team because, saying you're one of the more talented guys that's on the team. And I didn't understand that. So going into my junior year, my teammate and I, man, we was running low on money, so we weren't getting no money. We weren't getting much money, man, because we are out of season. We're out of school. So I had another security job. I was working in Brooklyn Terminal Market. We go on about Canarsie. Not the. It's a pretty dangerous area in certain pockets of it. So I'm taking the but I'm doing a graveyard shift out there. You got a Division I athlete doing a graveyard shift. This is how crazy it was getting for me, but I had to do it, and that was my only option at the time. So I took it. And it was tough, man. My stomach was hurting, man, because I'm up and I'm supposed to be asleep. I'm sleeping. I'm up. I hated the job, but I had to do it. That's my mentality. I got to do it. I got to do it. You know what I mean? And running out of money, man. And we look and was like, yo, we need to sell these books back. Man, we have a bunch of books in the locker room. We had one of our guys sell them off and give us money. And that was going to be food money and MetroCard money and then bill money. So we did that. A couple weeks in, somebody tracked it down to him selling the book because they wanted the book. I'm like, oh, old books, man, ain't tripping. So they put the spotlight on him, man, and they was like, who did it? And then they told he told on us because they threatened to kick him out. So he said what he had to say, and we like, man, we probably get a little punishment and everything. They kicked us out to school. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like, it's over before it starts. You gotta be kidding me. So I called my mom and we talking and she was, and We talked to my guy, and he talked to his family. We got to appeal this, man. So we appealed it. They ended up reducing it to community service and 2-game suspension. So going to my junior year, missed the first 2 games. The third game, man, they bring me off the bench. We play Army, not a very strong opponent, but very scrappy team. You know what I'm saying? They're drilled. They do this for a living. So detail oriented team. So I go out there and clip off. I hit 5 threes and had 26 points. Crowd going berserk. Not a big crowd, but everybody going berserk. Like, yeah, this is it. And I'm like, this is it. I'm getting closer to the visions that I felt. I'm not looking at stuff like I was in a dream. That slow movement, and I'm getting closer to it. And then my season goes up and down. I end up averaging about 14 points. Shot about 38, almost 39% from the 3-point line. Had a career high against Central Connecticut State, 29. So I'm like, that's not bad. Next year's gonna be the year. We're gonna get in there. We got some guys. We're gonna get in there. I come in my office, man. Hey, listen. Due to that prior suspension, you wasn't up to par on this grade, and they showed me the grade, and I'm like, and there was a lady named Dr. Franklin, and I'm like, well, what happened? You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like, well, you didn't keep it up. It fell below this, so yeah, out. So I got kicked out again. So I got kicked out twice in 2 summers. This time was different because nobody else knew. Only my mom. I'm like, this is there's too much weight for people. Man, people gonna freak out. Man, going like, so. All right, what I gotta do? I need to appeal this, and I need to talk. Who I need to talk to? The head of the committee. All right, cool. Who's the head of the committee? Dr. Franklin. Dr. Franklin, the lady that gave me the grade, is the head of the committee. Yes, sir. I'm like, this is a movie right now. Okay. Where is she? You know what I'm saying? She's in New Zealand for teachers, study thing. When's she coming back? She won't be back until the end of the summer. I'm like, yo, this is getting worse. By my questions, it's getting worse. She got an email. Yeah, here it is. I emailed her nothing the whole summer. So I'm playing with Ferg. I'm playing with Tu Holloway, Auburn Scott, Deshaun Moore, Lamont Hamilton, my brother P at Island Garden. Like nothing happening. Nobody knows that I'm kicked out of school. I ain't got no schedule. I ain't got no scholarship money. I'm done. And I'm practicing. And this is all on me. My girlfriend didn't even know, just my mom, because I'm like, this is too much for them to bear. So I had to shoulder all of that and act like everything was cool. And I had another security job. So the security job that was my summertime job from the connection from St. Francis. So I'm going to do it. Right. Nothing. All the way to the first day. First day of school, we got a new coach from Seton Hall, Brian Nash. He said, like, listen, bro, you out of school, man. We got to tell everybody. Tristan's not in school, man. He got kicked out. Everybody's oh gosh, man, they hugging me and doing all this stuff. So it's like, man, this is over for me. So I go and find the lady. I pour my heart out. My parents is trying to make ends meet, man. I'm really not a bad guy, man. Not at all by any stretch of the man. I'm just trying to find my way as a young Black dude that had a couple of obstacles thrown in his way, and I'm trying to get it done, and it's been tough. And we fell on a tough time, and then laid it all out there. And then she was like, I'll give you answer tomorrow. Tomorrow came and she put me out there. She was like, here's your schedule, man. You back in. Thank you so much. Not only that, but we became really cool. And she was like, I want you to come talk to the kids when they come from New Zealand. So we did that. Worst year ever. Played terrible. I was like 4 points. Terrible, man. So much pressure. There was that dream again. It was a slow-mo, and it was devastating. My teammates looking at me sideways. You could feel it. I'm not getting it done at all. Trash. I got worse. And it's like, there's no way I got worse. I've done. So end of the school year comes. Last game, I'm crying like, dang, man, I failed. But then next day, I'm like, I'm back on. I got to do something. I remember seeing Torrey Cavalieri. Shout out to Torrey. He was playing with the Brooklyn Kings, USBL. All right, that's my way. Coach Ag hit me up. I'm assistant coach over there at Long Island Prime Time. We just got a new team. Come check us out. Go down there. before I went down there. Dr. Belef bring me up there. He was like, listen, hey Tristan, man, I made a mistake. And on your transcript, one of the classes they carry over. So you should have been taking 4 classes instead of 3. So you can't walk. Don't cap it down for me. So I still got 1 class. I kept putting it off. So I still got 1 class. I'm ready to fully graduate from St. Francis. So I ready to punch him in his face because I was so tight. But that didn't come through for me. So Long Island Pride Time. I make the team. We got a really good team, man. We got some good guys over there. We make the team. So I'm at the end of the bench. And then one of the like 3 games in, my coach couldn't make it. So Ag was the coach. So he slid me up into like the 7th man spot. So I cook crazy. I mean, real good. I'm looking like the guy that I always envisioned. Like everything is there. And we play NBA rules, man. I'm calling for screens. I'm dunking, hitting threes, hitting mid-ranges, hooking people up. I ended up getting USBL Player of the Year. I mean, Rookie of the Year. I got Rookie of the Year. We made the playoffs. And then got the agent. Then nothing. Nothing happened. Had to play with the ABA Brooklyn Comets, Brooklyn Wonder. Money was folded. We had to run up in this dude's office, man. We waited for him, and the secretary was like, he ain't in here. So we said, well, wait. Man, they heard him scurrying in there. They said, I hear something. I'm talking about hood dudes from, like, it was, you know, some pretty much the semi-pro team. So you got guys, you know, from all of the different, you know, from New Jersey, from Harlem, from Bronx. Man, they jimmied up this door, bust the door open. This dude is under the desk, the owner of the joint. So you pick him up, man. You better write these checks, man. Before I was like, yo, I'm sitting in the back. I'm like, yo, if they beat him up, I'm gone because I can't afford to get arrested right now. I'm currently staying with P now at Ramona Bellows' apartment. I'm sleeping on a sleeping bag and a blanket on a concrete slab floor. I'm sleeping there. My shoulder's jacked up. I hurt my shoulder. I got no health insurance. I got to play through it. Pain gets up to like a 9 out of a 10. And I'm fighting. And I'm like, I need this money. I need this money because me and my brother were eating Dollar Tree food, and I'm cooking it in the microwave. So that way, you know, we trying to stay tucked off out the way. And my brother's going through his knee, and you know he's trying to find his way up at Suffolk. So I need this money. So I got my check. I was the first one out that thing, one of them, you know, one of the top 3. And then I took off to Bank of America, put my deposit in. It was like only 5 checks got deposited. Mine was 1. So thank you, Lord. And the other people joint bounced. Team folded. They reopened. I was playing through the shoulder. You know, I was cooking. You could ask Joe Rogers and KT. They came and watched P. I was tweaking out there. Nothing. Stuck, man, stuck. Me and my girlfriend, at the time, she was going through it. And then we went with my parents by this time are in Charlotte. My dad had to relocate, so they're in Charlotte, thankfully. They got a spot out there now. But, you know, me and P fending for ourselves right now. And now I got nothing going. Fast forward to even through. So I got nothing going. I went up to Ag. Ag got inducted to the Hall of Fame. I went up there with Timmy and Billy, and you know, congratulated him. There was a couple that actually named their kid after me because they liked how I conducted myself. So I'm like, oh, this is trippy, but I'm a failure right now. Mike Brown calls me right after I ran up on Valley Total Fitness. I just ran up in there like goon style, like, y'all gonna hire me. I'm trying to be a trainer and I got these qualifications, a lifelong athlete, man, I need to hire me. And it was like, cool. So I got a job at Valley's. Very next day, like, come back in like 2 days and we're gonna start setting things up. Next day, Mike Brown, I got an opportunity for you in South America. South America, you know, I'm thinking, what, Argentina? No, Uruguay. It's right across the river. So I go out there. I had to make that decision. And then once I made a decision, I knew my girlfriend at the time was the last time I was going to see her. Like that chapter's done. She's going to have to move on, and I'm going to have to move on. So we did, and you know, it is what it is. Next chapter. You know what I'm saying? I got to do this. So I'm out there, man. I think Montevideo, beautiful city. Nah, you go over there. So they sent me to Five Bentos, a smaller city. And it's cold out there because it's southern hemisphere. So I got my stuff. I brought it, and I'm thankful for it, man. But there was no heat in the house. You got plug, so my hands was getting all kinds of like, I'm not frostbite type stuff, but it was getting swollen. It was crazy, and I was cooking out there. I was like 27, but we wasn't getting paid on time, and I was like, "Yo, send me back, man. I'm not playing for this team." And then when I get back, you fired. So you ain't got no connection, man. I'm better off by myself. So when I get back, me and P was low, man. We were on no money. We was getting Dollar Tree food, and then we was also getting pantry food from this church in Lindenhurst once a week. And we was, cooking what we could cook from there. So P started going. We started going to the church before I left. So P started staying with this other couple for a little bit because we wore out our welcome at the Bellows. So we had to go to that other spot. So I'm coming back to the United States feeling defeated for a brief moment. Then when I step down, I can't quit again. And that's my mom told me she almost aborted me. Like this is already I know this now. I can't quit. I can't quit. I got a purpose in my life. I can't quit. Like I almost wasn't here. I can't quit. So now fast forward to this time, I come back, nothing going on. I'm working with ICE. He's, give me part-time money, but I'm like, this ain't gonna be able to be. My mom was like, come to Charlotte with us. And I'm like, nah, that's defeat. Like I'm at defeat. So I had to. 2 weeks later, I had to roll out. P went and moved up with some people in East in the Suffolk County, and then I had to take Greyhound at Charlotte. And I'm like, man, I got to get back up to New York. Got to. I got unfinished business. Something got to shake for me. Nothing was shaking. So I'm in Charlotte working. Remember, this thing is aching. It's not quite a 9, but it's a 7. It's a 7. It's clicking and but I'm gonna fight through it. I gotta play. So try out for the D League, the G League in Atlanta. I got no agent, so I'm going out there and I'm cooking crazy. And it was like this dude was like, man, the Fort Wayne Mad Ants, they keep watching me, man. They everywhere you at. So I'm like, I'm gonna get picked up. Man, I got no agent, man. I'm watching the draft. Nobody picked me up, so I'm defeated. But I got to back up, and I'm looking at my family situation. I gotta go. So then I go one more time to Idaho for the Stampede, get a workout with them, man. And dude tried to humiliate me in front of everybody. Dude ran a cut and I threw, and then he blew the whistle and blacked on me, bro. Like I was, a kid. And I was ready to take it outside with him, bro. And I had a terrible thing because I'm like, yo, you don't talk to another man like that just because you in an authoritative position, bro. I'm a grown man. All you had to do is say, hey, nah, we're not doing that. So that was it for me. I flew back and then I just had to accept it, man. My career is over. And I was like, I was hurt. I was hurt. I was hurt because I was like, I never popped off at all. Never popped off at all. But then I was like, something for me. So then I started at the personal training. So I just started preparing myself. All this friction and everything going on wore on my mom and my dad's marriage. So they split up and we ended up coming out to Texas. I was like, man, I can't let y'all come up by yourself. You know, nobody. We have about 3 weeks of worth of money. I cut my hair off just so I can, fresh shape up, just so I can make myself more presentable. And we ended up going to this church. My mom was like, we got to go here. So we go to this church. It's a Church of Christ. I've never been nothing like that in my life. They don't use any equipment, no instruments, nothing. They just sing and be like, we're good. And then they do their sermon. So we dropped out all these churches. It's like this Haitian dude that was driving our cab. And he was like, man, just go to one of these churches. And my mom was like, nah, we got to go to this one. So I put a little extra on it. Nah, man, go to that one. And don't worry about it, man. You just drive. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, chill out. Just drive, man. We ain't asked for that. And he gets us there. We walk in that super humble church. We walk in that thing, and it was like not that many people. Mostly white people. I think maybe like one black person, and then another mixed guy. He's a big, swole mixed guy. And they all look to us. We just slide into like the pew and sit down. Pastor comes walking up. The pastor's handicapped. Me and my mom look at each other because I'm a clown, so I'm like, this is a sitcom. This is outrageous. So he gets up there, boom, 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 and he stands up. He says a sermon. They couldn't say the sermon fast enough. They all come rush us. Boom. Introduce yourself, and I'm introducing myself and everything like that. My mom get pulled aside to like one of the top ladies that's in the thing, tell her a story. The lady was like, "Man, I'm glad you came today because normally I don't come to the service. I normally come to the night room, but I had to." So I'm like, "Man, the Lord lining this thing up, man, because you can't get anything if you don't have an address out there. You can't even get any assistance." So we said, "Listen, my son, he's a former basketball player. And they Googled me and everything to make sure I checked out, which is valid." And they seen I checked out, and it was hype even more. Like, man, this dude was big time at a point in time. You know, he's out here in Texas. You know, wow, bro, like full faith. We out in Texas, and I'm getting a job. So I found a job working for DirecTV, like selling DirecTV in the store. I didn't like it, but I had to do it. And it helped sharpen my skills up for me approaching the strain. I was the dude that when you shopping, you got, hey, come here, man, what kind of cable you got? I was that guy just to get in the door and build some money up. So we staying with the pastor. His son just went to the army. We got 2 rooms and they staying with the pastor to get your money up. By the time we got our money up, he didn't want us to leave, man. You bringing so much positivity. We cleaning up and joking with him. And he's like, "I don't want y'all to leave." So we had to leave, man. And time to go. And then I end up getting a job at the leasing office down there, and I'm getting my certification, and I finally get it. So now I applied for a couple jobs. I fly out to Billy Crest's wedding. When I come back, um, nobody hit me up, only one. So our drivers like, "Oh man, what the heck is this mall?" You see, nah, that's a fitness facility. It's called Lifetime Fitness. Biggest joint out, biggest facility I've ever seen for fitness. And that's the one that hired me. And they got me in there green, but they seen the potential in me, and the Lord opened up that door for me, and I was in. And then I started networking in there. Within 2 months, they put me up as an assistant. And as an assistant, you bump up your pay. And nobody has ever gotten an assistant job before 2 years. So I'm like, here we go. So I'm rocking and rolling, man, and I'm learning, I'm growing. One of my clients was like, "Man, you need to get on eHarmony because that's where I met my husband, and you don't even really go out like that. You just here to there." It's like, "Nah, I'm not doing it." So she pestered me to do it. Just give me 3 months. So I did it, and I put myself on eHarmony and Match. And long story short, I met my wife on Match.com. She was in San Diego, and she was going through her stuff. San Diego is one of the most expensive places in the country. I recognize that coming from New York. It's outrageous. So she's doing her thing, and we bonding and building, and we FaceTiming and everything. And we was moving quick. Like we ain't got no time to play around. So we end up getting married within the year, and her parents, kind of set up the wedding in Vegas. So we had like a real wedding in Vegas, not the Elvis type zone. We had a wedding in Vegas, you know what I mean, and move all her stuff out here. Then we stayed in an apartment. Then we got our own little spot, and my client, it was going well. You know what I'm saying? It was going well. We learned each other on the fly. Of course, we're gonna have our we bumping heads, but we growing together, and it's been awesome to be a part of that, and saying have somebody to build with. But people don't see all of the behind the scenes stuff, man. They don't see the sacrifices there's a lot of sacrifices, a lot of decisions that led to these decisions, especially now. So now I'm training the gentleman, my parents, um, my parents actually got back together, and my mom moved back to Charlotte. So now I was with my sister, just her and I, before I met my wife, and my sister was feeling the freedom. And there's a lot going on. I'm trying to say there's a lot going on it's been a lot going on for a lot of years that people didn't know. And training the gentleman, he's like, "Man, you should get your own spot." So I just need an opportunity. I'll help him. So he helped me out. I went and got my LLC, Tristan Sports and Performance LLC, doing business at Fit Lab USA. So he helped me find a spot. One of the spots he built, helped me broker the deal, and then he helped me do my build out. So I'm like, I'm a business owner, and I don't know what the heck I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try. I got enough courage, and I'm not fearful. I'm gonna try. So I took that avenue, man. We started from scratch in a smaller facility. Fast forward to now, building a clientele from scratch to now we're in a 100,000 square foot facility. And we got 6,000 connected to 8 basketball courts in the middle of Mansfield, Texas. And it has not been easy. So don't let it fool you. The overhead has been crazy every step of the way. We had to put a lot of money to get this up front. I fumbled the bag on the beginning of getting different money together because I had no idea. I don't have an investor. I didn't have an investor. I just said I'm going because when you have an investor, then they want more dibs on it. I'm going, and I'm like, Lord help me, and I'm going to learn on the fly. So I'm constantly trying to learn and grow, but it's been difficult. It's been difficult, and I'm pretty much a one-man band. My dad has been helping me tremendously, and people here and there, but ultimately I'm writing the programs, I'm doing the market, I'm doing all these things, and I'm trying to get myself to where I don't have to, but it's been really tough. We move into this spot, man, we're playing catch up, and then COVID happens. So, they shut us down for a little bit of time, man. We actually had to do a GoFundMe just to, get some of the basic bills paid because we missed out on a whole lot of deals. So I get when people are like, man, stay home. But staying home for me would be detrimental because of this startup and then the timing. So I get it, and I'll be very respectful to the COVID because it's hitting everybody different, but it's also impacting everybody the same. But that's my story, man. It's been a lot of persevering, a lot of self-inflicted pressure, but also there was, pressure indirectly from others as well. And at the same time, there was a lot of support. But yeah, man, we went through the struggle, man. I was on food stamps. I lost everything, all my possessions. So we started out, we came out to Texas with just 2 duffel bags of that's it. So there was a lot of starting over at key points in my life. And sometimes with those start overs, man, those things could have just derailed me. And bringing it all the way back, man, I was like naturally involved with this sports thing. And had I had looked at it a little different, I might have went a different route, possibly. But even if I didn't go that different route, I might have been better prepared had we had different resources that you see now. And that's why I try to tell these kids, man, honor your parents and be thankful for these resources. We didn't have these things. And also don't disrespect any school. Because the school you disrespect is somebody else's dream school. And then growing up in Amityville is different. It's different than some towns, but the same in some towns. And then anything that has a predominantly black, you got that friction, you got the economic situation to where there's a lot of pressure and it's hard to get outside of that. And we felt that. We felt that. We stayed in a motel. We stayed in a motel, man, for a while. And it wasn't cheap, but every dollar had to go out, man. So I was squirreling away money to give to my parents. And it was shaping me differently because I'm having extra weight on me than just being a ball player. And then that situation at St. John's for me, man, that hurt me bad because I was like, man, I fumbled the bag just maybe in this decision making. And then even if I got a square chance at it, who knows? But at the same time, man, I could have loved on my teammates better, man, and showed them more love during the run. So I got a lot of different things and a lot of different what ifs, but I walked through it. I walked through the fire and I came out refined. So I wouldn't change that. You know what I mean? I wouldn't change that because now I sit before you guys, a humble man, and was broken in different pieces in different stages of my life, and very, very little people knowing that. And now I sit before you, with the Lord's help and the help from the Most High, and be able to sit in front of you whole and healed from these different things. This is the first time I've sat down and ran through the whole gambit and fearless. There's nothing that anybody can put before me that I'm afraid of. And I couldn't say that before. And knowing the whole story from 23 on that I almost did not make it here, that there's still a purpose for my life. So I pray that you guys, man, take what I'm saying real serious and share this, because I'm not saying this is the worst story. I'm not saying it's the best story. I'm just saying it's my story. And with that being said, I think it's enough impact to help out other people because I don't think a lot of people know all of these things. You know what I'm saying? I don't think anybody know that I was almost aborted. So, ladies, if you're thinking about that, man, think hard. Think hard, man. You might be that. That might be the next, the next person that's going to be creating a wave or a movement for people. So that's why I honor him. And I told the Lord, and I prayed to him that when I was in that time at Charlotte, well, I was sitting and waiting, that when stuff opened up for me, I would never complain. And I'm in the spot right now, and I don't complain. I will not. I will not hold. I will not go back on my promise, and I try to treat people with love, regardless of what's going on in my life. And I do my very best to do that. Sometimes I fumble the bag, but very, very few times. And all my L's that I took and I take, I learn. So this is why the love is strong, the sincerity is strong, and I try to be genuine because I've been through more stuff than a lot of people even recognize. So that's why I want to share it with you guys. I lost everything, and we lost everything a couple times. Um, so hope this inspires. I hope this propels you to start doing things in a humble way and edifying one another, man, because we're really strong. We're really strong, a lot stronger than we could think. And again, there's other people in some bad spots, man. I seen when I was in Uruguay, there was people that was living in the city dump. You feel what I'm saying? In the city dump, and they was coming and knocking it down because they couldn't tax the people. So can imagine you as a grown man, you got your kids. I got two beautiful kids, and when I imagine seeing your kids in the city dump and you can't do nothing for them. So I didn't feel that low, but I can empathize. But when I see my daughter, my first daughter, even my second daughter, I see her born, it was so beautiful because I also remember that that happened for me and it almost did. It almost did. And everybody that's watching it happened for you guys too. We came through. And then even into 2021, we still here. So I just pray that y'all receive this message. I hope y'all enjoy this conversation. And again, man, I hope this inspires and share this content. Hit the subscription button. Hit the because we got other people who got stories. Click the bell. Click the bell. Because we about to roll this stuff out. We about to roll this stuff out, and I think it's earth shattering. I think it's powerful, and I'm looking forward to being a part of this platform. And anybody that has any business inquiries, I'm a personal trainer, a business owner, a small business owner. We train a lot of young athletes up to pro. So anywhere in the Mansfield area, even across the nation, I can do virtual stuff. So I'm here for your help, right? So I'm just I'm praying that we can connect with one another, man, and help each other grow, right? As a black community and then as a nation, we need to start helping one another. So I love you guys and God bless.